This is Megan O'Brien, and today I'm going to be showing how I utilize Pinterest as a classroom planning tool, a hobby tool, but also as a tool to utilize for educator and professional collaboration. Here you see my general Pinterest home board. You can tell I do a lot of fashion and cooking and photography on here, but I also utilize this as a way to plan and organize classroom ideas that I also share with other teachers and educators. An easy way to do that is you go up to your name bar here and you can scroll down and you can see all of your boards that you have ever set up and accessed. Mine, you can tell I have quite a few. I have 55 boards, over 18,000 different pins, and 4,700-ish followers, and then I currently follow 200 people. A lot of the followers that I follow are also other educators and individuals who share some of the same passions and hobbies as I do. A nice thing that I like about Pinterest is that I can name my boards and organize my boards however I see fit. When I first got hired as a teacher, I started a media board called Educational Activities because at that point I wasn't sure what grade I was going to be teaching. So a lot of my pins had to do with general classroom setups and ideas that I could use regardless of the classroom level that I was teaching in. I recently started interviewing, and I'm going to be working for the Kansas Cosmosphere this summer as an individual that works with the teachers there and taking their curriculum and aligning it to the Kansas Common Core. And I kind of found this cute little guy when we're talking about lab safety, especially when we start dealing with Dr. Goddard's lab. So this is a fun little printout that I'll be sharing with several of my friends. And right up here, when you click on a picture or a pin that you like or that you have pinned, you can come up to your edit bar. And here I can either change the bar or the board that I would like to have it on. So maybe this time I want to have it on my STEM education board, and I can save those changes. I can also select individuals to send this pin to. For instance, I'm going to send it to one of my colleagues, Kelsey Martin, and now it'll show up on her pin conversation boards. Additionally, I can go ahead and I could share this on Facebook so that everybody that I know can see it anywhere, and I can type in a cute little message. And I can share the link. Another interesting thing that I like is the fact that I can go on to any board that I have. So once I got hired on as a fifth grade teacher, I started a specific board for just items that I can use within my fifth grade classroom. And again, you can see I have over 350 different followers on this. Some of them are videos that I like to show with my students. Other ones are activities that we have done. This is a social studies lesson that we did with Google Earth in I Spy Famous Landmarks. This actually worked out great with the students and they really loved it. So this will be something that I'll definitely do probably next year. A thing that I like about these boards and what makes collaboration so great with using Pinterest is that I can come up and I can hit my three little dots here and I can send my board to any of my fellow pinners. So I'll send it to my husband just because all of my teacher friends already have it. So now he can access my board at any time. So this little conversation bubble pops up. Likewise, I can also invite friends and family members to collect or to view this pin board. So anybody who's interested in fifth grade can obviously see it and access it. This board has over 600 pins, and I'll admit that I'm on this quite often. I will actually probably end up going back here probably this summer when I have a little bit of time. And I will be reviewing this board and probably splitting it up into smaller boards so that I can locate my information a little bit easier. If there is a downfall on Pinterest, that would probably be the primary downfall, is that once you start pinning and pinning like crazy, sometimes you have to go back and reorganize your thoughts. So that's my fifth grade board. I also have a board for back to school. We collaborated on this board with several other teachers in the district as we were starting to look at classroom organization, showing and presenting expectations. We also wanted to come up with a new idea and a way to do an exit ticket with students this year to do a quick check on understanding and comprehension through lessons. So this is a board that we did set up in my classroom. I just went down and I printed out some simple conversation bubbles. I printed them out on cardstock, laminated them, put their numbers next to them as opposed to their names, and then just said, show what you know. So this is a fun one. Sometimes we would do it for math. Other days we might do it for English, science, social studies. I really tried to rotate it so that the students could utilize this for several different purposes. Another thing that I used was the toss and talk ball. Got a beach ball, and I put, my ball had a lot of questions, just like favorite store, favorite celebrities, cake or cupcakes. And then this one had dares. We did not do the dares because this is just a quick 3 to 5 minute brain break and a great get to know you tool that I found on Pinterest that a lot of the classrooms utilized this year. If I keep going, you'll see that I have quite a few other boards and other pins going on. Recently, I took an additional course on students in poverty, and during that course, I was presented with some very eye-opening information and some very eye-opening facts that I wanted to make sure that I kept with me at all times. This is an objective board idea that I already had in my classroom that was just solidified through the research with Ruby Payne on poverty and expectations. So I repinned it onto several of my boards so that I never forget that that is something I always have to have in my room regardless of the class that I am teaching. Additionally, students at risk kind of go with my poverty. However, I'm dealing with getting ready to next year implement some mindsets and mind growth projects with either having a fixed mindset or a growth mindset. So this is a board that I recently just started that I'm going to be adding a lot to. Likewise, with my ESL and my ELL, this is a board that my ESL teacher and I are collaborating on because I recently had a single student identified and I didn't have very many things in my toolbox. So this is a great way for us to share and show each other this is either a good article or this was a good video or this was a book that maybe I need to look into reading, but also ways that I can organize my room in ways that other classrooms have had a success when dealing with students of ESL and ELL learners. Likewise with my ADD and ADHD. TED Talk is a great program that has its own Pinterest board and will periodically put up videos of presentations that they've had. My mindset and my mind growth kind of goes with my ADD and my ADHD. Just a lot of research-based programs going on here because dealing with students in high poverty, there are so many more things that they also come into the school with that I want to make sure that I have my classroom set up in a manner that will assist them and not hinder them. Likewise, with diversity in my classroom, our classroom has quite a bit of diversity. So I've been working with some training. I went to San Antonio over this new year and received a great opportunity to get some additional hands-on training with dealing with students in diversity. And you can kind of see here that I just noticed I have two pins that are the same. So because I obviously don't need both, I can go to Edit and Delete, and I only have one. Student assessment and strategies for 21st learners. This has always been something that I really focus on, trying to find new ways to assess my students, especially when dealing with 21st century learners. Our school does have technology. Unfortunately, we're not on a one-to-one program. So sometimes getting the technology into the classroom is actually a little bit more difficult than it is anything else. So an interesting thing that my classroom did this week was a hashtag. Now they can't actually access Twitter from their computers, but on our show, Want You Know board with our conversation bubbles, we did do a hashtag exit slip where they had to sum up their learning using a one-word hashtag. So that was a lot of fun, and even though we weren't able to use the technology, we were able to implement the technology in a quick and easy exit ticket. Like I said, this summer I'm going to be working with the Kansas Cosmosphere and the Space Center, working with elementary, pre-K, and up through middle and high school programs and assisting in aligning those projects to the Kansas College and Career Standards. So I started a board. This one was set up just a couple weeks ago on STEM education, what it looks like, because we do not have the resources to implement STEM inside our classrooms. So I wanted to become a little bit more familiar with what STEM was and how I can help these educators in aligning their standards and making sure that it is affecting and having a positive effect on their curriculum and not hindering anything. So the Cosmosphere director and I have been sharing different pins that they have completed. This is one that they did in their elementary system. And then showing me this is what we do. How could we create a 2-week pre-teach program for elementary teachers so that when they come in and they do the project and the field trips at the Cosmosphere, how can it be the most effective so they get the most bang for their buck? So this is one that I'll be working on a lot here in the next few weeks as school starts winding down and my Cosmosphere session starts kicking into high gear. So, like I said, this was my little introduction into collaboration with Pinterest. So I hope you've been able to see how I use Pinterest, how my colleagues and I collaborate on Pinterest, and how you can use it beyond just doing your hobbies at home.